Hello and welcome to God and Country. Hope you guys are having a good week. If you are like me, you are still rejoicing from the results of the election this past Tuesday. Donald Trump, President-elect Donald J. Trump, the next president of the United States of America. I cannot wait for the inauguration to watch him as he takes the oath to be the 47th president of the United States of America. I know that if you're like me, you are still excited and you're still thrilled that he won, just like many of us thought he would. And so I'm excited about that. But before I get cranked up into this podcast or this video, I want to invite you to subscribe to our channel. If you watch this here on YouTube, if you watch it on X, if you're watching it on Facebook, wherever you're watching this particular show, go in and subscribe. It really helps us as far as getting out our message. If you really would like to help us, you can copy and paste the link and help share it with your family and friends. I want to show you something, and here's why I always ask. My page generally touches between right at 3.5 to 4 million people a month is a typical month for me on my Facebook page. It ranges between 3.5 and 4 million people a month as far as my reach is concerned. Generally right there at that 4 million mark. Whenever there's an election, Facebook really turns down the algorithm for conservatives. I want to show you this. So my reach in the last 28 days on Facebook is a little over 2 million people. And you can see it right here. I'm going to show it to you. It's from October 13th to November the 9th. It's 2 million people is my reach. 2,029,628 people. That's my reach in the last 28 days. If you see that number right there, it's 44% down from the previous 28 days. So the last 28 days up to November the 9th, it was right at 2,029,000. The previous 28 days, it was right at 4 million people. It is down 44%. You can see that right there. It is down 44%. So whenever we tell you that Facebook and some of these social media giants turn down our pages, this is exactly what we're talking about. 44% it is down. Look at this. I want to show you this. This is impressions. Impressions is a whole lot more because that's like a like, a share, things like that, right? So my impressions for the last 28 days, same time frame, October 13th to November the 9th, is 2.8 million, almost 3 million people in the last 28 days. But as you can see, it is down 44%. So my Facebook page generally touches in a month, as far as impressions, between 5.5, right at 5 million and 5.5 million. That's how many people it generally touches. The last 28 days, 2.8 million people. And that is down 44%. 44%. 2.8 million people, October 13th and November 9th. If you look at back there again, if you look at the previous 28, excuse me, if you look at the previous 28 days, that is down 44%. So 2.8 million the last 28 days. If you do look at the 28 days before that, this last 28 days leading up to this election is down 44%. I post the same content every single day. I post the same amount of time almost every single day. I post generally the same exact messages every single day. I don't change a whole lot as far as my message is concerned, but Facebook turns down the algorithm. Now, impressions is a like, a share, things like that. Now, let's look at the engagement. So the engagement is whenever somebody engages with my post, whenever somebody comments on my post. It's different than a like or a share. It's like if somebody, if they comment, if you could look at some of my pages or some of my posts, there's lots of arguments on there, which is fine. It helps the algorithm whenever people get on there and start fighting. And so I always appreciate whenever liberals get on here and start fighting each other or fighting against me or calling me all kind of crazy names, because that helps get out my message. So look at the engagement. The engagement, the last 28 days, 640,852 people. The previous 28 days, that is down 45%. So what that is saying is generally the engagement is a little over 1 million people a month. A little over 1 million people a month comment on this is one page, one particular page. Now I have other pages that I help monitor or admin on, and those pages touch not nearly as many people as this one, but it does touch quite a few people. But Facebook turns down that algorithm. Look at that. The engagement, 640,000, is down 45% from the previous 28 days. I mean, I'm showing you right here, look at this. Impressions, the last 28 days, 2.8 million. The previous 28 days, it's well over It's knocking 5 million people. And so, but Facebook once again turns down the algorithm. Look at this again. Show you again the reach. This last 28 days, 2 million. The previous 28 days, that's down 44%. And so Facebook, it turns down our conservative pages. That's why whenever we ask you to share, this is why. And I've just showed it to you. I just showed it to you in live. I mean, that's right on Facebook. And it shows you the reach. It shows you, and then it also shows you the previous 28 days, how much that is down. I can go back 90 days and look at, how many people my Facebook page has touched in the last 90 days. Now, it's over like 12 million people because it's a lot of people. But my point is Facebook and all of these social media giants turn down the conservative message because they don't want you to know, or they don't want people to see the message that we are trying to get out. Every single time I do a show, I talk about this right here because this, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the most important things that we have to get across to people. And I think we did a really good job getting this across to people because 2020 to 2024, all I heard was our vote doesn't count. So one of the main things that I talked about from 2020 to 2024 was this, that your vote does count. I talked about this all the time. I mean, I raved about this every single day, every time that I did a podcast, anytime that I was on my show, anytime that I was on, the Midnight Ride, anytime that I did a interview with a TV station, whether Fox or whoever I was talking to, I always talked about, if I gave a speech somewhere that was political, every single time that I spoke, I always talked about your vote counts. 2020 happened, the election. We talked about how the election did not go the way that we wanted it to. We talked about the election fraud and all those things that was happening during that election. And a lot of people were saying, well, your vote doesn't count. And that is something that the left wanted the right, the Republicans, to think that our vote doesn't count and that people would just stay home. Well, one thing that we were trying to get out, and I mean, I don't touch nearly as many people as, some of these like Charlie Kirk and all these other guys, that they touch. They're touching millions and millions and millions of people. But one of the things that all of us was pushing was your vote does count. We have got to get the vote out because if we get the vote out, we will win, and we will win big. I was looking at this map, and I want you to look at this map for just a moment. They want you to think that America's divided. They want you to think that that everybody, that half of America wants their kids, to transgender into a different gender, and they want you to think that half of America thinks that there's more than two genders, and that half of America thinks that it's okay to, murder babies up to 9 months in the womb, and then they can even be born, and you can make them comfortable, and then put them to kill them. Then, I mean, they want you to think that half of America thinks that way, that half of America is okay with drag queens, that half of America is okay with all of this nonsense. But ladies and gentlemen, that is not true. That is not true. I want you to look at this map. Now, this map is incredible. As you can see, the top map is the red, 86.72%, and you look at the blue, 13.28%. Now, when you look at that map, it is showing you all of the counties that Donald Trump won, and then the blue is all of the counties that Kamala Harris won. So whenever you look at that, you say, well, then how come Donald Trump didn't get 86% of the vote? Well, because of the population. Because whenever you look at those blue areas, there around California, then up, you look at those blue areas, those are going to be a lot of your big cities. A lot of your major cities is where those blue areas are going to be. Even California has a lot of red in it whenever you look at that map. I mean, whenever you look at that map, California's got a lot of red. Illinois has a lot of red. Florida, Texas, excuse me. Even some of these places that even the state might have went blue, still a lot of that state has a lot of red in it. It's just those populated areas, vote for, typically they always go Democrat. A lot of your major cities, are typically a lot of times Democrat. I want to show you this, talking about abortion. There was I think 13 states that had abortion on the ballot this past Tuesday. Candace Owens put this on her social media page, and I agree with Candace 100%. I appreciate the work that she does. I mean, she's a strong conservative woman. And for Mark Cuban to get on television and to say that Donald Trump has not surrounded himself with strong women, he's crazy. He's lost his ever-loving mind. He's nuts. There's women like Candace Owens, and there's a lot of other women that are strong supporters. This woman put on Facebook And she said, and I'm going to let you see the post. But she says, "Why? Give me your reasons why my child is sobbing because her rights as a woman may be taken away. Why? And if you disagree, please unfollow me." Now, that is what this lady said. Why? Give me your reasons why my child is sobbing because her rights as a woman may be taken away. Now, first off, I like Candace's response. Your child is just 13 years old. If she is sobbing over the prospect of not being able to forcefully remove a human life out of its mother's womb, it is because you are an utter failure as a parent. There is no other reason. It's on you, Mom. I agree with Candace 100%. She is right. There is no 13-year-old girl, unless she has been brainwashed, that is going to, if she gets pregnant, and God forbid that any 13-year-old little girl gets, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and God forbid, hopefully I don't ever have to deal with that. But the only way that a 13-year-old girl is going to instantly be thinking about murdering that baby is because a mom has brainwashed her into thinking that that is the only answer. I mean, that is a failure as a mother. For a 13-year-old girl, she's crying because, I might not be able to murder my baby one day. I mean, first off, I think that this woman's a liar, first off. I don't think that her child is crying about that. I think this woman's making that up, trying to get some attention on social media, as what a lot of these people do. They just lie about stuff. But my point is, why would you even be having these conversations with your child, teaching them that it's okay to murder, the baby? Once again, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, I would encourage you to do so. And please subscribe. It helps us as far as getting out our message. I also want to talk about this before we go. Two more quick things. One, I saw where Donald Trump put on his Truth Social that he was not going to put Pompeo or my mind is blank. And the lady that ran against him as president, he's not going to put her on any type of cabinet. He's not going to put her on at all, which is good. And then he's not going to have Mike Pompeo on either, which is really good. And so I'm thankful for that. And so I don't want Mike Pompeo on his team anyway. I don't want him part of the cabinet at all. And so, but I also saw this. We're going to have a new Senate Majority Leader, hopefully. Listen, this is not a bashing Mitch McConnell video. That's not what this is about. I'm not here bashing Mitch McConnell. If you know me, you know that I'm not a big fan at all. But this is not about bashing him. This is about the future, and this is about, it is time for a new majority leader. We're going to have the majority in the Senate, and it is time for a new majority leader. And I would love to see, Rand Paul has already endorsed Rick Scott, which is great. And so if Rand Paul is going to endorse Rick Scott, I would say that Rick Scott would make a great majority leader. I mean, I'm a big fan of Rand Paul. I think Rand Paul's awesome. And so if he's endorsing Rick Scott, then I'm willing to put my hat, behind Rick Scott as far as being the next majority leader. And I would hope that you would do the same as far as supporting, Rick Scott. And so just think about that. Just give that some thought. Maybe reach out to your senator and encourage them, whenever it comes to supporting Rick Scott to be the majority leader. I've got to do this because now it is bothering me because my mind is totally 100% blank as far as who I'm talking about. It's Nikki Haley. And so my mind just went blank, and Donald Trump, he put on his Truth Social that he was not going to have Nikki Haley or Mike Pompeo on his staff. And so I don't know why my mind just went blank thinking about, we worked really hard to defeat Nikki Haley, and I'm glad that he is not putting her on the cabinet. I don't think he ought to put him on at all. And so, but I would love to see Senator Scott as the next majority leader. I just wanted to jump on tonight, talk about a few things. Hope you guys are having a great week, and I hope you enjoyed church. And if you're going to go, this is Saturday night. Hopefully you go to church on Sunday, and I would encourage you to go to church on Sunday. But as I always say, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to our channel, and please share it. It helps us as far as getting out our message. Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. God bless you, and may God continue to bless the great United States of America.